Welcome to Fans International. You're joined by Panathafan Nick, and you've got a newcomer in Tom. Welcome, gents. Welcome, Tom.
Thanks, boys. Good to be on.
Now, this is gonna be a long episode because there is plenty to speak about. So we can't do the pleasantries and that. So let's get straight into it. We do have big rumored news now. By the time you guys and girls listen to this episode, it may have already occurred, but there is talks that Papadimitriou is resigning. So it is the alleged news that has come out from Greece that Papadimitriou will be resigning amid a lot of fan pressure and potentially from Alafouzos as well with what has happened recently as well. So um, if that's the case, we'll be sleeping with a smile tonight post this recording, and hopefully everyone has that good news as well once that becomes official. Let's kick things off with now the news. Now, the last pod, obviously, the American boys did discuss the shock, not so shock, firing of Rui Vitória. I think the writing was on the wall there, and they explained that as all the boys. But in that time, we do have a can we call it a temporary? Because is it a possibility that he can become permanent? There's just it's very vague with this, but Kontis, who has taken control of us just for one game prior with the Greek Cup final versus Ardis, and he was Jovanovic's right-hand man, has taken over the appointment, so he has now managed two games. Now, gentlemen, what are your thoughts? Tom, we'll go straight to you with this one. Um, when you heard the name Kontis was appointed, how did you feel?
I don't know. I think what you just said it before, like it's the unknown. I think you, you always have that bit of clarity in terms of, I guess, the way forward with them. But at the moment, like who knows? Like it's, I give him credit. What is it, second time? Um, like he's in a tough position. Derby straight up. He's got what is it, Thursday morning straight into Europa League as well. Um, yeah, I'll give him credit. Like it'd be definitely be a tough gig. Can he do it? Maybe early, too early. Maybe it needs a few more years under his belt, but um, I don't know. The quality's there. Maybe he's got the qualities, maybe to do it, maybe not. It's too hard to tell. Like it's a tough one to answer. Yeah.
Panath fan, I know you're ready to talk.
Yeah. No, look, I think Tom's right. It's I can't really judge Kontis in any way, shape, or form. I mean, this is his second game over two seasons, or really, it was a season in between. Um, Full respect to him, he's taken on a very difficult task because he's not there to build a team or to develop a style of play. He's just going to manage whatever is there now in the short term. So it's pretty much results at all costs, inheriting a few problems. So I hope for his benefit and I hope for our benefit he succeeds. Could he be a permanent appointment? I don't so I was going to say I don't know if that's what was intended. Certainly all the talk and reporting would suggest that it is only temporary. But I dare say he's going to make a decent amount of coin, even if it's just for a few games. So good luck to him. If he does well, I'm not objecting to him getting a permanent position. Results count, but I don't think it's going to happen.
Nick?
My first thoughts were when it came out, he is our answer to Takis Lemonis. When things go wrong, revert back to type, and it's another admission of failure, another admission of their fuck up back then when they let go of Ivan, that they get his right hand man in. Every time things go wrong, bring him back in. This time round, it's a bit harder because not only the core group, essentially it's a whole new look team from that cup final that we won against Ardis a couple of years ago now. So that's where it's a bit trickier now. Definitely unenviable. He's in a tough spot. We're going to get onto the issues in the squad as well later on, but obviously everyone's talking about the glaring issue in midfield and the fact that we can't go and make signings, and that's a he's stuck with the limited resources, with what he's got to work with for the next. Well, the thing is they've given him 5 games, so up until basically the next international break, which also includes 2 Europa League games, both of which are winnable. He's obviously going to be judged on results and performances. Oh, there's no way in my eyes he's going to get the full-time job permanently. I can see him, however, staying on as an assistant or in some other capacity. That I can see. Again, would he be willing to? I'm shocked he's even come back to work under these conditions to begin with. So that's why
What's
I'm
his
not ruling that out.
incentive? What's his incentive though? Like, what, if the writing's on the wall, you got 5 games. Like,
Yeah, I'm shocked he's come back to
yeah,
begin with.
I think it's
But
more financial one.
yeah,
it's got to be.
there was a rumor that he actually pushed back because remember the rumors at the start was that he said no to the gig.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
And the rumor was that he came back with pretty big demand from a financial perspective. So I dare say, even if it's 4 or 5 games, he's going to make a pretty penny.
As he should.
Agree.
Yeah. Look, I think he's already done well now, not results wise, but he's spoken about the clear issues in the club already, just straight out. He believes that the players have not really trained well, unfit. Seems like they're tired. He hasn't done.
Sir, on that unfit thing, did we not hear a few months ago it's the toughest preseason they've ever had? Not that it's ever. We know it's a cliche, but the word was coming out of the club, out of reporters, out of players, out of everywhere, is that they've been training for hours and hours and hours, doing these intense high press sessions and all that. Where's all that gone?
Yeah, look, the players look tired. The high press has sort of disappeared since maybe the Samsung Sport game. Even prior to that, I believe the press wasn't as as evident compared to Shakhtar Rangers. So we've seen players look tired, injured already. Jurisic did come out previously and say that that was the most he's done in the 15 years. Even Kyriakopoulos had a subtle dig as well at Rui today post game in regards to how the team was trained and the style that was brought in as well. It didn't appear a style that was working with a team. So there was things like that. But the Kontis appointment, look, it is a band-aid fix. We know that Kontis knows the club. He knows most of the players. He's got pretty much a new squad, but he's come in to identify the issues, and he's already done that. Whether he goes on to become the assistant, that's obviously going to be up to the new coach that will eventually come in. Um, I would have liked to see if results went his way for him to have that opportunity to stay on, but not too sure if that's the direction the club wants to take. But he's come in 5 games and one derby already, 2 European games. It's not easy what he's coming in to do as well. Might be, yeah, pretty coin, but there's a bit of his reputation as well on the line
Yep.
with these as well. So, yeah, look, I was happy for him to come in. I even shared a bit of a meme in regards to that. But in all honesty, I think it was. If we did, as we did go the temporary move, it was the right move to bring him in until the club can actually sort itself out because there's obviously massive issues from top to bottom with the club where it's at the moment. And it's good for someone like him to come out and actually point that out as well in terms of more the bottom end, players, fitness, style, everything like that as well. Um, but then, yeah, obviously we know the two leading candidates, and with that, there was conversations that both of these coaches did have meetings with the club last week. The club is really leaning towards one particular candidate. So the two candidates are Rebrov, who's the Ukrainian coach, and Van Bommel as well, the former Dutch player. I think he was at PSV as well. Um,
Bayern.
yeah, so quite a history playing career as well. Very decorated player. But it does appear Rebrov is the one that they're leaning towards. He's currently, I believe, the Ukraine coach as well. So I believe he wants, I think, the shared job to do both. It's just now working out logistics for that to happen. Um, how do you guys see these conversations with these coaches? Which way the club's leaning, Nick?
Rebrov, did you just say that he wants shared? He wants to coach us and Ukraine at once.
Yeah.
Then I don't want him.
Yeah.
If I didn't know that, that's the first I'm hearing of that.
Mm.
Yeah, what I would have said though is, for me, neither Rebrov or Van Bommel stand out as great names. For me, Rui actually had the better resume than both of them. I'm not saying either of them are bad coaches necessarily. They're just not that standout. Yeah, they're solid enough. And the problem is, we know it's beyond their control. Will they even stay? Will they last till Christmas? Will they last till the end of the season? Given the way these clubs run. It's again, that's nothing against them. Now, Rebrov, again, I'm not totally opposed to it until I just heard that news. If he wants the shared job, then absolutely not. What I did hear with him though is that he's very, very keen. He's basically signed, sealed, delivered, and that we're going to talk to Van Bommel again, who wants more time to think about it.
Just to cut in there, Rebrov has, as a manager, gotten a bit of silverware himself, with Dynamo Kiev and I believe
The
in
Ukrainian league.
with the Saudis as well, or in the Saudi league as well. So, or UAE, sorry. So he does have a good resume. He has won. Um, yeah,
Yeah, neither of them are bad.
yeah, he's done the double with Al In. He's won in Hungary. He's won in Ukraine. So he has won wherever he's managed, wherever he's gone. So I don't think, yeah, I think yeah, obviously Portugal is a better league, but it's been a while between drinks for Rui, while Rebrov has tasted recent success.
Yeah. No,
I'm,
yeah.
I'm looking at it differently, and that is before all the poor management decisions and the infighting and the backstabbing and the incompetency of people within the club. I'm looking less at silverware the coaches won, more about how resilient they are and how much of a personality they've got to cut through the rubbish and just put people in their place. And as I've always was a supporter of Rui, based on his pedigree, I think unfortunately where he came up short was his inability to influence people within the club.
Yeah.
And he called it
You
out.
said it. Gentlemen, you said it. Yeah.
Yeah, he was an absolute gentleman. And I fully respect him, and he always remained a gentleman. But we don't need gentlemen. And that's why I would have liked it. And that's why I'm not shutting the door on Conti, even though he doesn't have the experience. When a great coach knows the system, knows our shortcomings, knows all the, I was going to say a word, but I won't use it, the rubbish that goes on in the Greek Super League. So someone like Van Bommel, without knowing what he's like, I'll be honest, he's coming from the well-run, well-supervised, well-policed Dutch league to the Greek Super League. No, you need street smarts.
The Ukrainian would have more of that.
Yeah, he would.
He would.
Yeah.
I don't know. I reckon unless something changes up top, why bother? Just stick with what you got today because it's a basket case. It's you said before we're lucky to get through to Christmas.
Yep.
Look, I don't think we're going to have too many options and too many suitors. Obviously, the club's identified those two as top targets for their own reasons that they believe. I think.
Even then, I'm kind of shocked in a way that, because they're not totally shocking coaches, as I said, either of them. I'm shocked that they're interested. I mean, a serious coach would have done their homework to see what is it now. We're on the lookout for coach number what? Number 6, number 7 in 22, 21, 22 months. The serious coach would run the other way. Is it Europa League? That's luring him. I'd
Money.
love to know.
Money.
It's
Money.
like playing in Europe as well.
Yeah, Europa League.
Yeah, you know, people, some managers will kill to have a job. So the fact that we've got, two that really aren't bottom of the barrel to they're not really to the bottom of the barrel.
But not Alonso.
No, exactly. So you have to look at it that. I think there is some sort of appeal. I think any manager that can come to Greece and that can disrupt the league in terms of do what Lucescu has done, even though he's remained in Greece, his next club will be in the Arabs and get big coin.
Yeah.
There's a bit of pedigree to be built. If you can stay resilient and be a winner, look at Almeida for starters. He was in Mexico beforehand. Really was no one really was interested in him. He went to Ike, now he's in Spain with Seville. So I think there is still appeal. And what was Ike? Ike was a bit of a basket as well of a club before him. So he's obviously come in, he's done the job. So any manager that can come in and stamp their authority can do stuff. Even Mediliba was really nowhere as well. He was almost sacked by Olympiacos at one point, and then goes
Yeah.
on to win the Milko. So I think there is appeal in the Greek league as well still. And it's not like it's not like that we got bad players in the club. We actually got players, so there is some potential in the club to just work with as well. We do have what Dessers, you got Pelistri, Tete. It is,
Calabria
yeah. So you got
as a name.
you can work with, but I don't think. What was it? Was it Van Bommel that had the fallout with Calabria? So I think there was something like one of the players with Calabria. So um, we'll see how that goes. But Rebrov was the front runner of the latest conversations in regards to potential new coach. Let's head to the football results side. So the first one is the Greek Cup game, um, Panathinaikos Kallithea, where we beat the second division team 1-0. I don't think that scoreline was too pleasing. Um, you'd think especially with the lineup that was put out, you'd expect a little bit more, but the goal came from Dessers. I think it happened where in the 30th minute, Tete dribbled past two players, um, just cut it into the path of Dessers for the tap in. Um, like I said, 1-0 at Leoforo against a second division team, even with the players that we played, I feel like a little bit more should have happened. So Dessers did get a start. We saw also Taborda, who played okay, was a bit rusty. Um, Bokos got a cameo as well, which was encouraging as well. Um, Commentary obviously was he's done a lot more already than Mancini. But yeah, I think there was just a little bit of frustration especially with some of the end finishing. I think Dessers was criticized a little bit for missing a few chances. But he did get the goal at the end of the day, but probably want to see more against lower opposition. Did you boys happen to give any commentary on the game, anything that happened, or what you saw from there?
Yeah, I think good to see Dessers on the board, obviously, that although just a little tap in, but it's, I guess that sort of breaks the ice a bit. Um, I don't know, considering the circumstances, should have been more. But second division rated team, 1-0. I don't know. Like they didn't play bad either. I just think, I think there was like a lack of, I don't know, say motivation or not, or just, yeah, it's hard to be, obviously, unless you're in that group, right, and experience that sort of week that they went through, lost the coach and everything else that came with it. I think to walk away with the win, yeah, it's all right.
It is group stage. That's points
Yeah.
per win. Yeah, it's not aggregate or anything like that, is it?
No, it's
Points.
5 games.
4.
4? Oh, but thought it was 5. Yeah,
Kallithea, Kavala, and someone else.
I think that's status or something. One of those bogey teams that we always get.
Either way, though, it's the goals. I know there's goal difference and all, but you get the win, we move on, as far
Yeah.
as I'm concerned. You know what? And no one expected us to be good after the sacking of Rui. We had an under 19 coach coaching us during the game. No direction, leaderless club. To get a win, you know what? I'll take it. I'm not going to complain.
Yeah.
And
It's one of those games where you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. Either way, we won 1-0. People will say should have been 3-0. You win 3-0.
Yeah.
People are going to say should have been 5-0. And if you lose or draw, all hell would have broken loose. It's one of those games where you can't win. Just get the 3 points and forget about it.
Yeah.
forget about it. No injuries. Could have been a lot worse.
Yeah, so they've done it like the European sort
Champions League, yeah.
yeah, so bit terrible. I don't like this format. I prefer
What's key for us, I hate it as well. What's key for us is just because you got to play kids in this, academy players, a certain amount in the squad. We got to finish in that top 4 because we don't want 2 extra games in that January, February period where it always falls apart for us.
yeah. Yeah. Also with that, yeah, it's good to see the kids as well play. So we saw Bregel get minutes, you see Borkos getting minutes, so
Yeah.
uh yeah, I'm not a big fan. I prefer the previous 2 formats of the Greek Cup, either the drawings are head to head or the old group stage where it was just this you play each other once and that's it. And you have
Yeah.
that table within the groups and that's it. Now the big one, Panathinaikos in the derby against Olympiacos, little bit flat, obviously, 1-1 at home. The goals obviously came from Dessers in the 48th minute, and how that happened was through a ball from Bacaseta, so Bacaseta's got the assist. The defense, the centre back pairings were pretty split open from Olympiacos. Dessers one-on-one with Zolakis, hit it sort of between his legs, got a deflection, but still managed to hit the back of the net. And for Olympiacos, they got a really late equalizer in the 92nd minute through El Kabi, where Mladenovic gave away needless possession. Olympiacos attacked. Um, Gotiras came out of position to attempt to stop the ball, created space for Taremi to give that pass to El Kabi, and just had the opportunity to just bury it, and he did. All alone up there. That's where Cortella should have been. So that was pretty frustrating on that part, where it finished 1-1. Let's get thoughts on the games. Panathafan, I'm going to go with you first.
Let me start off with some positives because it's good to have some positive things amongst all the crap that's circling our club at the moment. Building on Tom's point earlier, good to see Dessers get on the board again. My background is I love that photo because I love how he celebrated the passion, jumping up to the fans. For a player who's second game in with the club, that's what you want. Someone who looks like they care. And I know there's a lot of criticism of Dessers from Rangers fans and people saying he misses a ton of goals and he scores the hard ones, misses the easy ones, yada yada yada. But the reality is that no one from Rangers criticised him about his dedication to doing his best on the pitch, game in, game out. And that's what I wanted to see. And I think that passion came through today. And I think what he showed as far as his role as a striker, he knows how to position himself well. He's an out and out striker. Like, whilst, yes, Bacaseta got the assist and he deserves the credit for it. The reality is he positioned himself perfectly between those 2 defenders. And in other opportunities where the ball didn't quite get to him, you can see his positioning is great. And I think that's what's going to create the opportunities for him more so than other strikers and more so than, say, Zuderski as a comparison. The other positive I'll call out was Duba. And for me, he was my man of the match in terms of he saved a certain goal when he got in front of, I can't remember who the striker was for Olympiacos, the player had a clear shot on goal. Was it Akabi?
Yeah.
Yep. And I don't recall many moments or any moments where he really put a foot wrong. Palmer Brown's a gun. He's strong on the ball and all that, but he had a couple of moments where it could have cost us. And I think it was a one-on-one that Akabi had because of that Palmer Brown mistake that really should have gone in. So it's not a criticism of Palmer Brown. I still think he's a good defender, but today Duba was arguably, for me, best player on the ground. Outside of that, we kept it very tight first half, dropped off in the second. Standard theme with his team so far this season, where we really fall away in the second half. No different. Shouldn't have conceded. I think you touched on it, Sturge. Gotzetta, what were you doing, son? Come on, you've got experience. You know that you got to hold a defensive line. But anyway, look, in saying that, I thought a draw was a fair result. Olympiacos could have scored another one or two, so it could have actually gone worse. A draw is fair. We'll take it. We're still in basket case mode, so I can't expect that we're going to be playing champagne football with Gonti in charge for his first game.
Tom?
Yeah, I think first half, I actually thought we were really good first half. I think we outpaced them, we dominated. I think possession, clearly possession was in our favour. Standard second half, just it was like another team, right? And I don't know, Dragowski, how much more can he do? Like it's unlucky, very stiff at the end. But I think he saved, two or three. Well, they should have been goals, right? But Seren, Jesus, don't know. I think when Calabria came off, I think we lost that sort of click that we had. We'll go on, I guess, the fitness levels later, right? But it looks like we fell apart, probably sort of that 70th minute, and every second player was cramping on the ground, right? And but just the other point is Dessers, right? And I know there's a lot of negativity on him, but I really rate him because had Forty had been in that position Dessers was today, I guarantee 98% Forty would have missed. He would have cleaned up direct on the keeper, right? So if Dessers is going to be the bloke that scores 1 in every 5 shots, that's all we need, right? Someone's just going to take a shot outside the box. None of these dancing within, and I'll give him a couple of months. I really reckon we'll be singing praise.
I'm going to interject there. We cannot, without certainty, know that Forty would have missed there. It's all
98, 95%. I'd go 95.
based. There's a reason why Forty's got a 25.
Yeah, fair point. Yep. But
yeah,
I think he's got some qualities. I think he's going to put a few away for us.
Nick?
We know, Forty, we know it's the all-round game, but it's Forty, if he's in on that position, look, I think he scores. For me, the difference is, I don't think it's what Panathafan said. I don't think Forty gets in that position to begin with.
Yeah.
And that's what Dessers has, and I wasn't ultra keen on the signing, and Panathafan kind of stole my thunder, but for me, the only positive in this game was Dessers.
Yeah.
He's hit the ground running, 2 goals in 2 games, you can't ask for much more. All the negativity, he's put it to bed already. No one's spoken a bad word about him following the post-mortem of this game. For me, the only positive, because the rest was grim. First half was a bit not bad, but not great either, because we didn't threaten. Like, we were up for the fight. Physically, we were there. We got in their faces, but when you're playing a derby at home, you want to see more, despite the chaos we're in off the field. You want to see us go on the front foot and threaten more, which I don't think we saw enough of. And then it really fell apart second half, especially after we scored the goal. The goal, as you said, Sturge won the ball nice high up the pitch, laid off Bakasetas' assist. Bakasetas, other than that, didn't do much else. But as a collectively after that, just poor. That we already touched on the lack of fitness, the lack of sharpness, and that really came to the fore. But It was. This is a game we probably should have lost. In the grand scheme of things, we've got Dragovski to thank, as Tom was saying, and the block with Dubar. Even after they scored in like the 92nd minute. There's still 5 odd minutes to go. They were the ones that were looking more likely, that were pushing forward to try
Mhm.
snatch the game, which would have been a real dagger. Then it would have been total chaos. I said to you yesterday at the basketball Sturge, I would have taken a draw in this given the chaos we're in. I know a home derby against the gavroi, you always want to win, but this one just felt off to me. So yeah, that says it all where we're at. Other than that, where do we go from here? That's what scares me.
Look, only up, I believe. And fourth is not a traditional nine like that Desses is. I think he's more of a hybrid
Yeah.
for striker. Desses is a striker, classic striker. So, but in regards to the game, look, two different halves. The first, and look, Olympiacos came with a game plan. Our good friend Leo Fordos, if anyone listens to him, broke it down perfectly, like stole what I want to say. Um, so Olympiacos went with a younger lineup and then brought in their guns. So we saw a tale of two different halves where the first half, it was a pretty tight game. Not a lot on offer. Olympiacos is crying over a penalty that their player just runs into, lifts their leg into
Mm.
our player, tries to milk a
Yeah.
penalty, which is never a penalty. They're crying like, yeah, okay. Like we've seen the pustias that they've done time and time again. I'm actually surprised that it wasn't given, knowing their history.
Yeah.
Um, but in regards to that, we saw a really tight half where, neither team was really budging. You expect that in a tense derby. But second half, obviously, game opened up a little bit more. We got the early goal, but we saw something again that we failed to do the previous two league games, and that's to see out a game with a lead. And that's all attributed to experience in that midfield. The loss of Maximovic has been so crucial. It's been totally understated, his significance to the team, where we've not been able to lock down teams, neutralize their midfield the way Maximovic does. While you don't see him do anything special, it's because he's doing all the dirty work, he's doing all the neutralizing of the midfield, all the good stuff that you want your number 8 to be doing. With that, we don't have that. Cheran, I don't think he's too much of that destroyer type 8. We brought in Sanchez in that to replace him. He, again, failed. Players just cramped up. We saw Calabria come off tired. We saw Kyriakopoulos tired. We forced Jurisic to play the full 90 minutes, where we typically see under Rui, under Jova, he would last typically that 60 to 70 minute mark. And that's attributing to a lot of the things that what Kontis said, Kyriakopoulos said regarding the training, the tiredness of the players. I don't think Kontis could trust Zaruri to come in. Even Bregu, I understand Bregu. He played against Levadiakos, or sorry, Kifisia, one of the games he came on, and he just, I think, was overawed by the opposition. But he'll get minutes. He'll get minutes. His time will come. But you can understand in the W, you can't really bring those kind of guys on. You see it even like from Muzakiti's point of view. He had a shocker today, and I think playing so many games, a player like him, still young, developing, it's catching up to him. You won't be surprised to see him ride the bench for a bit. Just refresh himself, get his confidence back up. But yeah, for them he didn't play too good. But on our side, just focusing more on our side, yeah, you had experienced players for us that came on, and look at the difference between the two teams as well with the substitutions. We brought in Gotsiras, Mladenovic. They brought in Podence. They were able to bring in Taremi. Just those two, look at the difference in their depth compared to our depth. And even those two guys that we brought on, experience 33, both of them. both contributed to low IQ plays, which resulted into Olympiacos equalizing. So Taremi setting it up as well. And I think Podence had a play at that as well in that build up as well. So that's the difference really there in terms of what we had and what they had. So I think Mediliba would probably be happier with the result
Mm.
overall. He had his game plan, and Olympiacos probably could have gone on ahead and win it as well. If it wasn't for Dubar Dragowski, we'd lose this game. I think we're lucky to get a point and escape this.
Yep.
I think it's overall a disappointing second half performance and a disappointing result for us as well as a club. I think we should have aimed to win. Sorry, boys. We just had a pause there because there was just internet instability. But yeah, in regards to that, yeah, just the quality of the teams, and you know, I think missing an eight was a big miss of the transfer window. We sold Maximovic. We brought in Renato Sanchez, who isn't a like for like replacement. They're two different players. Renato Sanchez is rocks and diamonds you're going to get from his performances, but he's not the Maximovic.
Consistent.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Remember last year? Remember last year? This time we are talking about the one left back, and it was Mladenovic game in, game out. Now we're talking about the midfield, and again it's Papadimitriou. Back to back summers or winters for us. Back to back seasons now. He's stuffed up severely.
yeah, and that's why yeah, a lot going against us, and he's been obviously the major culprit behind this as well, behind these plugs, because he spent probably what in the both transfer windows, he's
Yep,
been given what 40 million.
40 odd million.
They're at that figure. So, and look what he's done. We don't have an eight essentially.
We're arguably worse from where we were last season.
So
Well,
Yeah,
technically,
I agree. Worse.
technically we do have an eight, but no one's allowing for him because he's been trying to find another club, and that's Villena. But
we've got Vienna. We also could have done with
It's
Chokai.
okay. It's okay.
Yeah.
Neither are going to come back and play for us.
Chokai's
oh,
at a club that's doing well at
yeah, he's getting regular time, whereas Villena, he's in no man's land at the moment. So
Yeah.
I think he's our solution, but might as well just put him back in the squad and have him there in case we need him.
well. If obviously Papadimitriou's gone and Kontis is in, I think it's a good opportunity for all the outcast players to redeem themselves.
Fresh
Well,
start.
yeah.
Potentially, potentially, or they could be just exiled. Could be just a directive. That's it. They're exiled. They're gone. But yeah, all this is still failures of Papadimitriou not being able to move them on. Essentially, we moved Spora on. Zavelas moved Spora on, 750, whatever it was, thousand euro. 6 months later, the Turk team released him on a free to Bratislava in Slovenia. So we got great business out of that. So, and that was Zavelas, that wasn't even Papadimitriou. So,
And speaking of the devil, something you guys know I like, on a lighter note, who won? Garapapara or Zavela?
easy Zavelas, the whole world saw Carapapa's his pizza body and his muscle breasts. Everyone saw that. Just wear a belt, Carapapa, please, you papara. Fucking hell, wear a belt. His pants is falling down. You see his crack, see his gut hanging out. All those pizzas. Yeah, so it was good that Zavelas then stood up to him. So
Oh, it's reflecting the prestige of a European club playing at the top level. Karapapa, he's upholding that image really well.
yeah. like Marinakis, both of them with those guts. Uh, but apart from that, yeah, I think it's fair to say, on my perspective, I think the derby was a little bit of a letdown in terms of result wise.
I was generally
Definitely.
worried about the crowd, like the fact that it was a
Mm,
sellout
yeah,
crowd. I generally
yeah.
thought there was going to be a riot.
I fully agree.
Yeah,
Great point. Actually,
considering the
the
week.
all the anti-Alafusos banners,
Mm,
nothing went up in 13. It was all for again. They shut down the Alafusos chants last
they
time
did.
round. This time, all the anti-Alafusos banners were around, scattered around the ground. Nothing
Yep.
in 13.
Why is
What
that?
they had was the pre-game, the scandals of Olympiacos. I don't know how you can fit all these scandals on what they had about 15 odd banyar. You can rattle them all off. You need 100.
It seems odd though that Gate 13 is not saying anything about Lafuzo when the rest of the crowd is unhappy at the moment. So
Well, they did. They put a post up. They put a post up. Was it Thursday
at
or
the
Friday?
at the ground, to not
It was
no
no.
no chant or banners and or anything like
Yep.
that against
There was
him.
a big
Considering the
banner.
mood at the moment
There was a big banner.
against Alafuzo from
Yeah.
Gate 13.
In
Yeah.
13.
I didn't see
Okay,
it. Oh.
Yeah.
Everything I saw was around the rest of the ground.
No. There
yeah,
was definitely a big banner. The Pula one.
yeah, okay. Didn't say that.
Yeah. No. They've got it in for him. Even though
No, but it's just odd. It's just odd. Right now, I would have thought, like Tom said, I would have thought the crowd would be losing it
Mm.
if more than what the game result was.
Yeah.
But they were very subdued, but what I expected anyway.
yeah. No. Definitely there was a big banner that I saw.
Fair enough.
Let's get on to now the next couple of games. We do have a European game. It will be Thursday night in Greece time. It will be around 10 p.m. Greece time against Young Boys. So for Sydney, Melbourne, it is 5 a.m. on the Friday morning against Young Boys. Now, this one's going to be hard to read, this game. They're going okay-ish in the Swiss League. They are coming off a 1-0 loss against a second division team in the Swiss Cup. So we beat a team in second division, they lose against them. So they did lose 1-0 against a team called SC Arau. I can't even pronounce it, but they do come off a loss off them. Um, they're sitting fourth at the moment in the Swiss League. 6 games, 3 wins, 2 draws, and a loss. So, what do you guys expect from? Do you guys know much about young boys? Anything to expect from them?
I saw Villa play against them last year in the Champions League. Nothing special. If we're up for this, this is a game that we can win. But again, who knows what to expect from us? But a serious Panathinaikos goes there and wins. With young boys though, they're going to put a shift in. They're going to make it hard for us. They're not going to give up on anything. They're going to play hard. And for us, I would love to see us not get there on the Wednesday. I'd love to see us get there early in the week because that Astro turf scares me. That
Yeah.
was the big talking point last year when Villa went Champions League there. These was the Astro turf and how he managed the players' minutes. So that's a concern. Unfortunately, this one's away where Switzerland, as we know, very expensive country. So not many, I don't think, from Greece are going to be over there and probably be relying more from Germany for our away fans. In terms of an 11, very, very hard to read. Is it a game where we see Taborda and more rotation? I honestly couldn't tell you. I think we're going to see Dessers start in this game for sure. And it's funny because last time we were on, Panathafan and I were saying there's not much of a gap now. Bandovic, Viderski, Dessers. I think we're wrong. I think Dessers is well and truly clear. Early doors already.
Yeah.
That's the only one I can say with certainty. I think he's going to stick with Dragovski in goal for this game. Then we just hope for the best. Actually, tragic name they've got for a stadium. I'll leave it for you guys to look it up.
what's the stadium name? All right, now you're gonna make me look it up.
I'll let
It's
you look it up.
So
I think
whilst you're looking that up, I did study a bit of the Swiss league late last season when we were sort of waiting for the draw of the Champions League, or was it after during the preseason, you should say, where Servette was also a
Yes.
potential team we're going to face up against. And from what I saw, more from results and just a couple of highlights here and there, young boys look like they press hard and they're a fit team.
Yeah. No, they go hard. They
But
go very hard.
they do concede though. They're not tight defensively.
Mm.
And from what I saw from Servette, different club, but it's a similar sort of thing. They play with a lot of speed and intensity, but technically they're not tight at the back.
Yeah. It was more long balls, shots from distance. Yeah, exactly.
yeah, yeah. The name doesn't do them any favors. Stadium
No.
name, club name, Young Boys Stadium wanked off. Yeah, doesn't do them favors. Yeah, look, I'm just because I don't really
They,
know.
they actually have a decent atmosphere though. They're fair. They have pretty loud fans.
I don't know too much about their player personnel. All I can see is that their best player is out until October at least with ACL. Um, But apart from that, look, I don't know too much about them. They do appear to be a younger squad, so expect a lot of running, a lot of pressing. I think once we beat the press, we can beat them. Um, Look, I think I'm a little bit disappointed that we've come into this competition with two forwards, Dessers and
Yeah.
Swiderski. Swiderski has been poor for me, so leaning on Swiderski is. Yeah, because I've seen it in the preseason where Swiderski couldn't control the ball, was making really basic errors, bad passing, killing attacking momentum. And we seen that in the Greek league, and we saw that again against Olympiacos where he came on and had absolutely zero impact. It was like playing with 10 there. So sorry, once again, we just had technical difficulties. But yeah, in regards to Swiderski, I think he's been really poor from the whole season. So it's just a shame that we don't get to see Pantovic more in an expanded role, especially in these European games as well. So we're gonna rely heavily on Dessers getting on the score sheet and our other players. We're unsure if Police is going to be available yet because he he he's been injured since the
Uruguay.
Uruguay, so he went away
Mm.
with injury concerns, and then they played him and got even more injured. So it's a bit frustrating that we haven't been able to use him lately because he had a fantastic start to the season. With that good hustle, defending, attacking threat, just been unlucky not to find the score sheet. But yeah, I think this is going to be a really good test to see where we're at really in Europe against good strong teams. I think this is going to be where we actually see Kontis what he sees in the squad and the direction that we're going to move. From match day one, how he's going to translate it to match day two. I think it's really important especially if we can start off with a win. We start off with a win, we're already
Yeah.
almost 1 foot door in the to qualify already to the next round. So it's important that we start with the right foot. Young Boys is definitely not a pushover of a team. They're a team that has played in Europe for a fair few years, including in the Champions League. So um, I think it's going to be a really good test.
I think just going back on Swiderski, right? I think I reckon he's just that one game away from finding his form again. Like put in perspective, right? He's a proven goal scorer. What is he like 27, 28? He's in his prime. Um, I just think he's just that one game away from just getting his form again, and he's a class act. Yeah, it's just a shame that it's the rut's gone for pretty obviously. What is it? 3, 4, 5 months. Um, yeah, we need it back.
For me, it's
Need
not
that
even
form back.
scoring. I think it's his overall performance. a non-factor. He's breaking down attacks. He's losing the ball so easy. I think he's playing.
Confidence. Yeah.
I'm saying he's playing himself into being the third choice striker, to be honest, because at the moment he's been really not up to it at all. He's really in a bad form. So look, for his sake and our sake, we hope that he can turn it around. The standards for him lift, but that's obviously on him. He's just got to get
Yeah.
the basics right for starters.
Yeah.
With that, then straight away after the Panetolikos game, sorry, the Young Boys game, we do travel to Panetolikos in the Greek league. Um, they do have one win, one draw, so that's going to be going there is always tricky for us. I think last year we won it in the last odd minutes or so. Um, yeah, not an easy ground to for us historically to get results there. So that will be on the Sunday night Greece time, Monday morning here. So 4 a.m. Sydney, Melbourne. I think it's like 9 p.m. Greece time. So everywhere else just check the time zones. There's also been interesting development in this CEO part. So, at the end of last season, there was talks of Alafuso stepping away from the football club. It was more handing over the footballing duties and trusting himself into a CEO. That kind of went away in the off season where it just lost all traction. There has been news that's come out that has actually gained momentum, and there is a strong candidate. So there is a familiar name in the football world of Baldini. Baldini is a former player for Roma. He was also the technical director at Roma. Infamously tried to get rid of the Roman god himself, Totti, when he was in his just in the later or at the end stage of his career. He also had a role with England and with Tottenham as well, where he was the technical director there. So he did oversee the sale of Gareth Bale and did bring in some really good players for that club as well. So um, it's an interesting name because he hasn't been involved in the footballing world in a good at least 6, 7 odd years. So what do you guys think of the CEO? You know, us potentially bringing the CEO after it was dispelled, the rumors, the murmurs went away, and then obviously getting a name like potentially Baldini. I'll let the floor open. Whoever wants to go first with this one.
All right, I'll bite. I'll go first. Straight out, I don't like it. I don't like it at all. And the reason why I don't like it, based on the little I know, so I'm happy to be proven wrong. He's not a CEO. He's been a technical director. He's been on the board at Roma. He's done consulting, PR roles, not player management, but certainly um, player analysis. Being a CEO is completely different. Being a CEO, you're running an organization, you're bringing multiple departments together, they're going to cooperate and work in synergy for an outcome, whether it's a football club or a business. He hasn't done that. And at 65 years of age, what's his motivation? What, he's going to become CEO for the first time? Yeah, exactly. Right? We know
Yeah.
what the motivation is. But he's not coming here to build a career. This is not a stepping stone to something bigger and better. He's not starting off as a CEO at Panathafan to end up being the CEO of Man United or Arsenal or Real Madrid or whatever. He had roles at Real Madrid, if I'm not mistaken, but he's not been a CEO. And culturally, he had his issues at Roma. Tried to get rid of the god himself and Dotti. I've read online that the Roma fans absolutely hate him. Now, that could be misplaced because as fans, we can be emotional at times and pass judgment quickly. But when you hear about fans absolutely hating a figure who's in the management, it sort of reminds me of someone we've got in our own club at the moment. And I just that alone makes me go, I don't like the idea of this guy coming along. I don't like how he's going to do a role he hasn't done before. I don't like the fact that at his age, it's not a career move, it's a money move. All those things add up to me as not a good appointment. And again, more than happy to be proven wrong.
I know Totti is in the Roma world untouchable, but I can understand his thought process at 40 years old Totti. So you can kind of understand, but it's also, yeah, you probably have to leave Totti decide on his own when it's time as well. So I think that one obviously is not a favorable decision that he had to make. Obviously, it was not going to be a popular decision, but I can understand what he wanted to do. I'll just try and play devil's advocate. Was, I do like Roma and I do like Totti, but just trying to give the counter argument, you can kind of see what he's trying to do. Look, the CEO role is less the financial side. It's more looking after the football department side. It's pretty much him making the decisions from what we understand, what the role's shaping to be without the financials. So it would be still Fools giving the green light to things, him having the final say on things, but it would come as like if you're in the corporate world, like a head of or something, like a GM of a department, and you're reporting to the CEO essentially, the general manager, managing director, whatever, the corporate structure. So I would say he would look after the footballing side, the TD side, the coaching, operating like that. Um,
As
yes,
long as, look, as I was saying, the idea of it all sounds good in theory, on paper, that someone can come in and get us, as a club, the brand name, and get us moving in the right direction off the field. But is he going to be a yes man? This is the whole politics of the club.
Yep.
Is he going to be a yes man to Alafuzos? Is it just going to be someone else that he can, he's got him there, he employs him to deflect the blame away from himself onto someone else? And do we trust Alafuzos making appointments? Pretty much, what, 90 odd, 95% of appointments he's made over the last 13 years have ended in disaster.
I don't think he's going to be a yes man. He's 65, 64, 65 years old. He doesn't have an agenda. He's going to pretty much come in as someone you'd think impartial, someone to give his wisdom. He does have the experience. He's been part of some of the biggest clubs setups. So I don't think he's going to be a yes man. I think he's just going to come in, just to have the attitude that he's going to have and give his recommendations based on how he sees fit. I don't think he's going to come in and listen to what Alafouz is going to say because Alafouz, we know, doesn't have any idea about the footballing side of things. So I think we're going to get less used car salesman advice from Papatzim, and I think we're going to get more insights from someone well experienced with background at some of the top clubs. That's there's going to be some I think there's going to be some valuable insights from him in how we should be operating, whether it translates into bring better personnel into the club. Let's hope, because at the end of the day, we do know that Fuz will rubber stamp everything, but at least it won't be Papa Zim anymore.
But there lies a problem, right? Like you can put anyone in there, but unless it doesn't get that rubber stamp, what's the point?
Yep.
At the end of the day, he'll probably go.
Mm.
If he's giving recommendations and they're not being implemented, as we've seen with his club time and time again, I don't think he's going to hang around.
Yep.
I
If
think
he comes in, he's going to be gobsmacked at what he sees. What a Burvelo it is.
probably needs that reality check, to be honest. It
Yeah.
needs someone educated and someone to say this is not right because we've had too many charlatans for too long at this club. The last 15, 20 years, there's just been too many. This is probably,
Question for Panathafan though: will he fix the marketing?
but
Well, I had a more important question. Does he take over the model stadium that Papatzim's been admiring in every bloody video this season? Does that become his now, or does that get thrown in the bin? I'm not quite sure.
Papatzim takes that Lego set with him.
If he gets sacked, yeah.
But in all honesty, I think we're gonna see a little bit more technical and more valued opinion, someone that's been around the bigger clubs. So I do see it as all positive. So, and I think that's what could be spelling disaster as well for Papa Dimitriou, the fan pressure, and now this CEO that actually has insight into football that will be having what Papatzim reporting to him. So I think that also plays a part into it.
I hope you're right, Sturge. I
Yeah,
hope you're right.
that's my gut feeling, and I think I said it at the start of the week to you guys. I feel like there's something happening. I believe there's something happening. Obviously, I felt something with the Papa Jim stuff, and I still think that there's some sort of rumblings in the ownership. It did come out earlier in the week about the richest woman in Greece. So she's the richest person in Greece, the Aggelusi, sorry,
Angelikusi.
yeah, Angelikusi family.
Maria, isn't it?
Yeah, the shipping magnate.
Yeah.
They are known to have been a Panathinaikos family, um, but they have come out and through their inner circles, according to a journalist, to deny interest in the club. They gave three reasons why. They believe that the club's not for sale, it's not in their interest, things like that. But obviously, if there's rumblings and the journalists needed to go there, I feel like there's obviously something in the rumblings. I know Alafouzos is determined to not sell until the stadium, but unless he names a figure or there's absolute pressure, I believe that there is someone there, and I believe
I
potentially
hope you're right.
waiting. But I do feel it's not going to happen 2, 3 months time, but I really feel
This
like.
is
I,
yeah.
Yeah, but I do feel like there's conversations on next in line who's going to take over, which owner's going to come in. I think those conversations have started.
It has to. Something has to be done. Like it can't year after year after year, and something needs to be done. And surely he can see it. Like do you get to a point and think, I've done everything, I've tried everything, and it's not working.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's stubborn. He ended up there by accident. Now it's like borderline self sabotage, deliberately
Yeah.
sabotage. This Angelikusi, the lady herself and the family, as the richest, the lady richest in Greece, do they really want to get involved in Greek football and have to deal with Marinakis and all his stuff and everything else that goes on? If they're legit and they really want to buy us, it's not going to happen overnight. It's going to be once the stadium's all done. We're talking years down the track. But if they come in, all the power to them. But I don't know. I can't see why they'd be interested.
I think I think multiple reasons. I think it's to build something, to build the brand as well.
It's a fair point.
Build a club brand or
And
their own.
as well. And their family name as well.
Fuzos ruined his. No, that's the thing.
And he wasn't brought in on accident. He didn't just start.
No, yeah,
He was
yeah,
placed by
yeah.
Bernardino Yanni. So
Yeah.
But I get your point, Sturge, but at the same time, they've got a thriving shipping empire that probably needs a number of family members to run it. And it may be that they don't have a family member that's either able to or interested in running the club. So that'll be a full-time job in itself, I'd imagine. So
Rich
it could
people on board.
outside of her, and I don't know if she's married or not, or has she got direct children, or what the case is, but could be that there's no one able to step up to run the club and be diverted away from running the business.
Rich
I,
people
I,
on board. They love hobbies. They love toys. They love this stuff. Look at all the rich billionaires that own soccer clubs. You're talking Roman Abramovich with Chelsea, who had all that stuff in Russia. You got also the Kroll camps, whatever. You got all these different rich people that have their businesses and they own sporting clubs as well. Rich people love their hobbies, love their toys.
not all though, not all. I
Not
mean, there's a lot that do, but her family could be the exception. That I've got no idea. I'm just sort of trying to understand why they may not be interested. And it may be that business wise, they don't have the ability to do it, and they recognise the inability to do it. Because I think that running a football club such as Panathafan, it wouldn't be an easy gig. It'd be a pretty hard one. You'd have to be pretty switched on to understand the challenges and how you're going to overcome it. And I say that simply because I've dreamt about it many, many a time and thought about it. And I think if I was to do it, if I was a billionaire, I know that there'd be many challenges I'd have to overcome in order to run the club successfully.
Marinakis does, and he owns how many clubs, and he's got his business, the ships as well, including the one that had the heroin.
Yeah, but he's also got people that he can manage, that he trusts, that, and he's got his son as well. I think who's running one of the clubs too, if I'm not mistaken. So, and that's why I say that if you got a small family or you don't have a trusted group of people immediately around you, it would limit your ability to take on an additional venture because it is a venture.
Yeah.
And,
Look,
and I don't know her family. Maybe she does, and maybe there's more reasons that I'm not aware of. And I got no idea. I've said that before, but I don't think that every rich family has got the capacity to take something on like this because it would be a full-time gig.
no, but obviously the name has come out of nowhere as well. Never been
I
mentioned
hope,
this
yeah.
decade. So that's why I think there's got to be some sort of rumbling. Something has initiated this conversation, and their name has popped up. That wouldn't just come out of nowhere if they had no interest.
I hope so. I really do hope so.
And that's where I'm getting at. I believe there would be something. They would have had to inquire or something, and it's gotten leaked. So yeah, that's the CEO sort of talk. Now, let's get on to the final topic of the night, the Pavlos Giannakopoulos Tournament. So the Pavlos Giannakopoulos Tournament was held in Melbourne and Sydney. So Melbourne had the friendly between Partizan and the one match of the Pavlos Giannakopoulos Tournament happened 3 days later in Sydney. We'll go through our experiences. Tom, Panathafan and I were both at the Melbourne one. Me and Nick were at the Sydney one. I'll start off with Tom. How do you find the overall thing, the
Uh,
experience?
yeah, overall the tournament was fantastic. I think NBL, the NBL did a cracking job bringing obviously two of the biggest clubs, into Australia. What is it, 2 weeks away from the regular season kicking off? Um, Crowds were great. I think from a personal touch, right? Like having my two boys there and decked out in green was pretty special for me, and and obviously watching a win as well. So, um, and just after the game, hearing comments like Panathinaikos, of course, BC being one of the biggest clubs in the world outside of the NBA, I'll challenge that. I reckon that they would give half the NBA a run for their money. Um, but just on the previous topics, right, around ownership, the passion in that group is second to none. Yeah, in terms of ownership, and for a owner that sticks up for their club, who couldn't give two shits of what anyone thinks in or outside that league. You've got a playing group. You can just see them, right? They're just so connected, and they know what each other's doing, and even the coach, like, just technical. it just looked really easy for them, right? And I think PAO FC that they've got a lot to take away from that group, and there's no reason why FC can't be in that position, right? There's no reason. Like we're a big brand, a proud club, proud history, right? And I don't know, like the BC team, mate, they came from some pretty rough times as well a few years back, and they're a powerhouse, and it's a credit to that organisation. They're a professional outfit, and I think the fact they're in Australia and yeah, being able to be there, watch them, yeah, great experience.
Panathafan?
I think that I can't add a single word more to what Tom said. That was absolutely spot on as well. Having the ability to take my family to watch my beloved club, and they thoroughly enjoyed the experience. And yeah, credit to the club for giving us that opportunity. Yeah, fantastic. I couldn't have asked for anything better, to be perfectly honest. And even though it was a full house and the atmosphere wasn't quite what you'd expect in a Oaxaca in Athens, yeah, my family still loved it, and they still loved the experience. So I was very, very happy indeed.
Nick?
I was just,
I
I was
know.
gonna ask the Melbourne guys about the atmosphere, but Panathafan beat me to it there.
I think me and you will go on the longest about it, but look, the atmosphere was
Oh,
Melbourne as well as Sydney, but
you and I can sit here for the rest of the night talking about it. Look, we can even start it back from before the Sunday, from the Saturday where you and I went to the meet and greet. And I get the message from you saying only 2 players are coming, not the whole team. And then one of the 2 players being Slukas, and you think, okay, Palikala, at least Slukas is going to come. Then they rock up Greek style, fashionably late, 50-odd minutes late. And we see Kalaitzakis and Toliopoulos rock up instead. For me, that was a letdown. Again, I don't blame Slukas at all. Slukas is now mid-30s, coming off Eurobasket. I blame the people that put the itineraries together for that. Good for the kids, obviously. It was primarily designed for the kids that day on the Saturday. As for the Sunday, look, I echo definitely what Tom and Panathafan were saying. First and foremost, great day, truly fantastic day. Honor and privilege to be there. Well done, well put together, and all that. Look, for us in Sydney, we kind of copped it due to factors out of everyone's control, even NBL's control. At the end of the day, where we had 110, 120 odd thousand people in that precinct, which made it a nightmare. Well, just made it a long day. For me, because we got there so early, it was all right that way, but it was just a bloody long day. Eventually got our flags in, one of the 2 flags in. Sturge, full credit goes to you. You were on fire both in Melbourne and Sydney with your work. I've got one on display in my background, and you got your other one that you took down with you in Melbourne, in your background as well. I didn't go with family. Obviously, I went with mates, and we all love the experience, love the day. Fanella as well. Got a fanella. Sizing was a bit off. Did you guys in Melbourne get fanellas?
Yeah, ran out, sold out.
Really?
Yeah, hold out.
Wow. See, that's what I was thinking. So I went. We had the 2 games on up here, and in the queue, we were queuing up for 40, 45 odd minutes, surrounded by Serbs. We were basically the only Greeks in the queue because Partizan were the first game. So Fanellas, I don't know if they sold out here, but we went within half an hour of the gates opening. We got in. Sizing was a bit off though.
Yeah.
So I'm normally a medium, and I had to get a large, and even that fit was iffy. I know guys that are a 2XL having to get 4XL, but they didn't have 4XL. Just those little things that I'd say was a bit off, and for families, because we saw Sturge around us, for instance, where 7 o'clock start our game, finishes 9 o'clock. Not ideal on a Sunday night at Homebush logistically for families. For me, not a worry. I could have stayed there. If you kept me in there or gave me the option to stay in there till 3, 4 in the morning, I would have stayed there.
Yeah.
And that's what I loved. And as I said, full credit to you, Sturge, for your good work. Yeah, again, we tried to get some chance going up here in Sydney. I can see you're laughing. Um, yeah, Tia, look, if we're going to talk about the actual on-field basketball, none ran the show both games. Without him, we probably we might have lost one, if not both of them. Other than none, Rogavopoulos was outstanding. Seven more so in the first game. Grant was solid over the two games. Yeah, then Slukas got some minutes up here in Sydney as well. It was interesting in the first game up here that Partizan really struggled to get past the Kings, whereas we were down for most of it. But as soon as we clicked in a gear, and as soon as we took it seriously and
Mm.
started playing, we swept Adelaide, swept them aside, and it was quite comfortable for us. But outstanding. As I said, I can't stress it enough. Honor and a privilege to be there. Something I'm not going to forget ever. Um, and again, what Tom was saying, it's one thing what we all say at Panathinaikos fans around the world, not only those living in Greece, how the FC and the BC are two different worlds, despite it being the same sets of fans. One thing saying it, but one thing actually living it and seeing it and experiencing it firsthand. Like seeing proper Panathinaikos people, even on the Saturday, for instance, having Vespina, Giannakopoulos there, Dimitri's mother, but Parthenopoulos as well. He probably deserves a lot of credit from a Panathinaikos basketball point of view from making it happen. And he said on the Saturday, he's a Melbourne boy and he was one of us growing up here, speaking, learning Greek and all that. So he deserves his dues as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. I want to add in the game one, Samodurov was outstanding as well. I thought he was outstanding in game one in Melbourne versus Partizan. Did you have anything else to add before I go on
The
for
floor,
a
the
big
floor is
rant?
yours.
Look, I went to both, and look, I came from Greece the week before, so I was a bit tired. Wife obviously not happy I was doing it, but it is Panathinaikos. So flew down to Melbourne with the banner behind my head that I did here. It had worn out. So I'll start off with a story and a story first, and I'll give my experiences. So when I get to the hotel room, I'm working from the hotel room. So the banner was like all wrecked up, like the paint had come off a bit. So I had to look for a shop in the Melbourne CBD
I
for a.
didn't know.
So I'm locked up in the hotel room. So I decided to go for a walk, went half an hour, found a shop, went back, patched it up, and realized that the fumes were just too strong for me to work in there. So I just had to leave the hotel room, work in my mate's room. And then eventually you can like it took a few hours for the fumes to go, leave the room, had the aircon blasted, everything. So get to the arena and John Cain Arena, and there was a bit of a lineup already, and there was just security checking everyone and everything. I thought it was over the top, and I was like, I had hidden it in my hoodie, and I was holding my hoodie like in this awkward position, like, all right, let's try and get in, because my friends had to check in their flags at the cloakroom. It was just like 10 centimeters above the entrance
Did,
requirements, which was a joke.
did they have the tape measures out in Melbourne as well? Because we saw them yesterday with tape measures.
Yeah, they had
Mm.
like yeah,
The nanny country, nanny states.
yeah, really, really stupid. And then I just held up my arms to get in, like to do the metal detector check. They didn't even like look at my hoodie properly. How I was holding it was that fabric was a very heavy
Yeah,
fabric, like that.
yeah.
And then as soon as they finished doing the metal detector, I just legged it in. As soon as I got in, that's it. I was safe and good. So that one went viral thanks to our good friend Lil Fordos who put it up first, and then a lot of the PAO sites put it up, and then so did SDNA, um, which was funny. So yeah, Alafuso, Pula, Kefige, but look, both experiences were pretty tame, the crowd, and you kind of expect that. It was
Yeah.
mostly families and couples that went. From what I saw, a lot of families and couples. So it's hard to generate any type of chance atmosphere, especially when people don't know ball chants. They might know the basic bar nothing like also like a few claps and that's it. Like there's other people that don't know chants as well, so that's why Nick is laughing. We had that experience in Sydney. But look, I think one frustrating thing I found that both the Sydney and Melbourne was that they overkilled the Partizan song. It's the Pavlos Giannakopoulos Tournament, and for us in Sydney, especially, the first time we heard the Panathinaikos hymnos was at halftime. That's what really frustrated me. But when I went a bit earlier for the Partizan game, they're playing like their songs non-stop, and I thought it's Pavlos Giannakopoulos Tournament. It was a bit frustrating just from that kind of aspect. Uh,
Point.
but look, Melbourne had a better itinerary for the players and meeting the players than what in
The
Sydney. So Melbourne had vanilla.
vanilla.
You guys
Mm.
had you had that $350 head dinner, that bit of a wank fest. And I'll get to the Sydney side soon as well. And then um you had those two events. I think there was a couple of other minor things, but most of everyone got to really the free option really was the vanilla one, and I thought that was, hands
That
down,
looked awesome.
credit to Melbourne for being organized and offering that. I got to meet all the players because I got word of um, where they were in terms of when they were leaving, everything. So I did get to meet a few of the players, and I pretty much would say that Dino Mitoglu was fantastic human. He seemed like a really top guy, really humble guy. Juancho as well. Big props to him. Really nice guy as well. A few of the players looked a bit tired. Everything. Kendrick Nunn was the last
No,
one out of everyone to leave. You could tell Ataman was fairly exhausted himself. Samodurov was pretty good as well. Um, yeah, pretty much. Even Holmes. Holmes had a big game against Adelaide as well. He was very good. He was very good as well. He was very good to talk with. And obviously, me telling Jerry and Grant like about the Chicago Bulls because I do go for the Chicago Bulls, so he did enjoy that. Um, but yeah, the Sydney experience in terms of a player engagement was very limited. Um, and you can understand they had like a couple of days to rest. They had the Sydney events because once they left Melbourne, they went straight to the Harbour Bridge to do their media stuff, whatever. I believe they went to the Opera House as well that night. Um, and
they had
then
a harbour cruise.
yeah, the
Bruce.
Harbour Cruise. Yeah, they did the Harbour Cruise. The Opera House was the night after, but then the next morning, yeah, Kaladzaki. It was told Slukas was going to come and one more, but it ended up being Kaladzakis and Toliopoulos, which was fine. You got to meet at least, bowl players that represented Greece as well. So it's not nothing to be upset about. But obviously, Suka would have been nicer to have. But Parthenopoulos was there, the president of BC, and he spoke like he's an amazing speaker. He's
Mm,
an absolute
yeah.
amazing speaker. So I got my basketball signed by him, by um, Pavlos' wife, Kyria Despina Yiannakopoulos, and the two players. And then the Sydney event straight after, which was co-joint with the Partizan players, was at Colin Barris's restaurant, which costed $300 a head at lunchtime. Like a bit of a wank fest. Like it didn't really give obviously the real people, the real fans, to get an opportunity because that would have been more of a networking profile sort of event, not really a fan event. And today they did from what I understand, the bridge climb as well. But yeah, I'd say the Sydney sort of interaction side was a little bit more disappointing for us. The itinerary was pretty bad, even though the actual tournament was here. Um, there was no real engagement to be had. Um, but look, and then obviously the Sydney game, Sydney like you know, Adelaide played very good in that first
Mm,
quarter, first half.
first half.
Bryce Cotton, DJ Vasiljevic, and even Isaac Humphries was a bit of a problem. But as soon as we stemmed the scoring, none like absolutely torched them. And then comes to that banner as well, the one behind your head, how I how I got that one in. So that one didn't fade. There was no issues with the painting on that. But when I saw the Sydney um, checkpoints for security, it
That was
looked
insane.
yeah, it looked even worse for Melbourne. Um,
Did
so
you get patted down as well?
no,
So we did.
I got there and I was like, man, I'm just gonna carry the banner, and if they say something, I'll just play dumb and I'll just check it into the cloakroom or something. I went in with it under my arm. I held it like it was like a jumper.
Yeah,
Like
okay, yeah.
the lady didn't say anything after I went through the metal detectors, so I just legged it. I absolutely legged it, got in, scanned inside, went to the merch line because I was gonna buy the scarf. I regretted not buying the scarf in Melbourne. Then a security guard comes into to me and he goes, "Is that a banner?" And I was like, I didn't want to lie because then if I lied, it makes it even worse for me. I said, "Yeah, it's a banner." He goes, "Do you want to check that into the cloakroom? We can't have banners here because of it could be any political, anything like that." I was like, "Look, I don't want to leave my spot in the line, but let me buy my merch and then I'll check it in myself." I was like, fuck this guy. Like, I didn't want to give up the banner, obviously, because it was a pro BC message, and obviously it was a good message. So I see my sister walking, so I called her up. I was like, quickly come, get the banner off me, and walk around the other side. I'll come meet you. So after I buy my merch, the security guard must have had hawk eyes on me to know when I finished my purchase, and he goes, "Where's your banner?" I was like, I don't
I
know.
checked
The
in.
other security guard took it off me. And he was asking which one. I was like, I don't know, the one over there. And then I see him going up. I just legged it once again. Met my sister. I caught the lift. I didn't even go to my proper seating. Sat with.
That's why you
I
came
went
and
up.
sat with us.
Yeah, just in case, because I was on the floor level, but I just went upstairs just to not get done. And then yeah, in the end, we got the banner up as well. So yeah, the security was a bit too much, but.
It was good. We had what, about 15 odd guys that we knew around us. But
Yeah.
yeah, what, 15 odd?
Yeah. So look, overall, to watch Panathinaikos though, in terms to speak positive about it, I think it's a dream come true. Not many people in their lives ever get the opportunity to go watch it, even take their families to watch it, take their partners, anything like that. So I think it's a good shared experience. Not everyone's lucky enough to go to Greece to time it to watch the sport, everything like that. So you got to give props to the clubs, even the NBL for organizing it
Mm,
as well. Um, yeah, obviously things in retrospect, things could have always been done better. Things could have been
yeah.
done differently, etc. Obviously, but look, it's obviously a good experience. Happy to be part of it, and obviously got memories as well that will last me. So
Yep.
I was shocked actually. Both Partisan posted 40,000 over the Sydney Melbourne. Incredible. I know we got 18,000 yesterday here. I didn't see that coming until obviously a few days before, where it was basically almost sold out. Then it became sold out. I thought that was a long shot a few weeks slash months ago.
look, look, I'd say Partizan had the better support in.
They had a lot here.
Yeah. Look, and I think it's also a bit annoying, even for like Panathinaikos fans, that had that been the soccer, there probably would have been more
More,
Greeks,
yeah,
especially if Panathinaikos was to come. I think more Greeks would have turned up for the soccer
definitely.
basket.
With the Serbs though, how many? I lost count. I reckon I saw at least 6 or 7 Red Star jerseys. It was
Yeah,
like more of a Serbian community thing.
yeah. Look, I think it's also some of them might not treat the rivalry as high compared to us, like with Olympiacos.
Yeah,
Not too
it's got
sure.
to be.
But yeah,
Mm.
I think it's also good for them to support their Serbian counterparts as
Oh,
well.
they were fine. We had some in the early game sitting around us. Others at the pub came up, took a photo with one of my mates, wished us luck for the season ahead. They were fine.
Yeah, yeah.
I,
And look,
I didn't know though your story with all that with the banner.
yeah,
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
My problem is my mouth, and they got us, and I said a few things I probably shouldn't have said to security, and then he goes, "I'm not letting you in." I just stormed straight past him, like what you did, just legged it basically, and I got my flag in, my Greek one, but my Panathafan one, my mate was holding, and that had to go to the cloakroom.
Yeah, I think it's a bit silly how strict the security was and the staff like just common sense. I know there's rules, but apply common sense. Like, yeah. But overall, yeah, positive experience. I think, yeah.
Definitely, the positives far, far, far outweigh the negatives.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely, without a shadow of a doubt.
And I really think with what Arkondas has previously said, I think we're gonna win the EuroLeague. I think we've got the squad and the depth, and it really showed. Obviously we didn't have Lesor, we didn't have Grigonis either,
Shorts,
Shorts as well. So I really think we've got the depth now to carry us to the EuroLeague, pending no injuries. I think the eighth is possibly coming home.
in our backyard.
Yeah. Apart from that. Gents, anyone else want to raise anything? I'm going to look up quick any latest news, anything that may have happened. Panathafan?
No, I'm all good. Thank you.
All
Nick?
good.
Yeah.
I would say no. What you were saying, and Tom said it earlier as well. That you can really see the togetherness is there, and that they're going to go all out and leave no stone unturned to bring the eighth home to us in our backyard this year. And Sluka said it. I don't know if he said it in Sydney or Melbourne, but he said it somewhere that back-to-back years of failure at Panathinaikos is unacceptable.
Yeah, that's right.
Where's someone at the FC to speak like that?
Correct.
Yeah. Yeah. I guess now it's starting to become a little bit more news that the possibility of Papa Dimitriou leaving. So let's keep our eyes on.
Let's hope we wake up to the best news.
Apart from that, gents, I think we can wrap it up there. All right, perfect. All right. Thank you all to listening. Don't forget to share, listen, feedback, anything like that. Have a good night, gents.